Donald Trump's very controversial Attorney General Bill Barr resigning today, sending this letter to Donald Trump. Last day is effective next week. Now, this comes after something that was unusual for most of Barr's tenure. He'd been a loyalist to Donald Trump on the Russia probe, on all kinds of language in the run-up to the election about voter fraud and other things. But after Trump lost, they were clashing. Now, Barr was historically loyal. The resignation letter, we should note, also mentions what he puts as a, quote, partisan onslaught against Donald Trump. Professor Murray, we live in fast times. It would be easy to think of Bill Barr based on the last week or two of public conflict. His overall time at DOJ, though, involved primarily advocating on Trump's behalf and at times, according to DOJ veterans and insiders, blatantly politicizing cases to help Trump or punish enemies.
That is certainly the case, Ari. This was an attorney general who frequently and unapologetically took the Trump line on so many issues, going back to the Mueller report, to this summer with the unrest in various cities around the country. To say that DOJ was politicized under his watch is really an understatement. I don't know that I've ever seen a situation where former members of the Department of Justice wrote a letter condemning the actions of a sitting attorney general and condemning the way in which the Department of Justice had been transformed into a political tool of an administration.
Yeah. And so when you look at what he's doing now, Nicole Wallace and I were discussing this at the handoff. There's also the fact that Donald Trump is president until the 20th. He has mused openly about a raft of pardons. Bill Barr, of course, did oversee controversial Christmas pardons in a previous administration. Are you struck by the fact that for self-interest or other reasons, there's some clue here he may want to get out before the final act of Trump's approach to DOJ?
Well, who knows why he wants to get out? Maybe it's just time for him to do so. I mean, it's been a pretty remarkable run for him, but it may be the case that what he is likely to have to do as Attorney General in these waning days of this administration may be too much even for him to stomach. But again, just because he has perhaps in the last couple of weeks noted that there was no widespread election fraud, seemingly coming out in favor of a more pro-democracy standpoint, should not excuse what has happened over the course of the last 2 years. I mean, this has really been a remarkable administration in terms of the way the Department of Justice has been used. And I think it would be remiss of us to forget how unbelievably politicized the department has become.
Yeah, all great points, Professor Murray. Thank you so much for joining us here at the top of the show. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.